Good morning, everybody. Thanks for joining us on this Zoom call. I'll start by apologising if I'm a little flat today because we're pretty exhausted. We've had a lengthy road trip and flying here, there and everywhere and a massive lack of sleep, so forgive me for that. We're coming to you live from the Bitex offices in Salt Lake City. I'm going to be turning my camera off in a second because really this is just about voice. I'm not having to present anything as far as slides, etc. is concerned, and we've got sun coming through, as you can probably gather, behind us. It's not easy to see me anyway because the sun is behind me. I'm going to quickly scour around the room so you know where we are. I'm just going to show you who's currently present at this meeting. To my right hand side is Ken Bolinger. And then flipping around the other side, we have Kerry Stockton, my partner to the side, Roger Kerwin. We have Vi, the company's attorney, and I'm going to spin it right the way around back the other way. We have Rosie, who is the new head of customer relations at Bitex. You've now met everybody who are attending this meeting. I'm going to turn my video off so you don't get blinded by the sun behind me. Firstly, what I'd like to do is just give you some overview. Make sure when you're coming in, please mute yourself off. Somebody is taking control of the Zoom. Just one moment. One moment, guys. Interesting. Okay. That's right, mute it off. Okay, that's all right, that's fine. It doesn't matter too much. Keep an eye on that. Sorry, guys. I just wanted to just check. Please just don't move any controls and things like that. Don't share your screens. Let me make sure nobody is sharing the screens. Let me just get through what we need to cover with regards to this. We're not going to be taking any questions today. We can deal with those in the next sort of 24, 48 hours moving forward as we go through our travels. We're actually flying out of here in about 2 or 3 hours' time. Before we get started, what I want to do is, if you could just put in the chat, I just want to make sure that everybody can hear me loud and clear. If you could just put in the chat that you can hear me okay. I want to make sure that we've got over 100 people on this call, that everybody is getting this information loud and clear. So I'm just going to give you a second to do that. That looks as if everybody can hear me okay. Okay, now I'm going to start by, first of all, going into a confidential and non-disclosure agreement that has been prepared with ourselves in conjunction with Bitex, and I'm going to read this to you. It is extremely important that everybody on the call listens and understands the content of what I'm about to read you. It is extremely important that you take it seriously, because anybody that doesn't do so will find themselves falling foul of this agreement. It is a confidentiality and defamation agreement. The customer, that is yourselves who are on the call, and let me emphasize that this call is specifically for the TPG group. That is the TPG group where you purchased your equipment directly from Bitex themselves. So let me emphasize that this call is specifically for the TPG group, for those who are on the call that purchased their equipment and sent your funds directly to Bitex. The customer, which is you individually and on behalf of those they represent, agrees that they are under an obligation of confidentiality due to the non-disclosure and non-circumvention agreements signed with Bitex LLC. Under this obligation, as outlined in the ND and NC agreements, the customer will not discuss, divulge, or reveal any information received today, as well as any other confidential information received throughout the customer's relationship with Bitex. Confidential information includes, but is not limited to, any data or information that is proprietary to contracts, dealings and associations by and between the customer and Bitex, which is not generally known to the public, whether in tangible or intangible form, in whatever medium provided, whether unmodified or modified by receiving party or its representatives, whenever and however disclosed. Also, the customers agree that you will not attack or criticize Bitex LLC or any of its employees, associates or partners at any time on public forums, blogs and social media networks or in any public manner. Likewise, customers agree not to in any way commit defamation or injure the business reputation or goodwill of Bitex, including, by way of illustration, through any contact with clients, prospective clients, vendors, suppliers, employees, advertisers, public relation firms, media, investigators or agents of Bitex, which could defame or injure the business reputation or goodwill of the company. Please understand, failure to keep confidentialities by the customer or not to commit defamation will result in Bitex taking legal action against the customer. Okay, that out the way, let me just take you back a little bit and let you know that we arrived here in Salt Lake City yesterday, and we have spent the last day and a half or so in very frank and open, positive discussions with the Bitex team. And I think really what I want to say is probably the obvious. We all know, depending on at what stage you got involved, that this deal that we've been in with Bitex has changed many times from the original concept. If you cast your mind back, we obviously started off with an initial private pool concept, which incurred the company some significant costs to test it, and unfortunately the results, as we all know, didn't pan out. And subsequently we've moved it forward, and the company have done their absolute utmost to ensure that we get over the line with a satisfactory conclusion. What I'd like to say is, obviously, despite those great intentions from Bitex, we have been unable to receive any assurances on satisfactory timelines to get you into that position. And it was very clear, I think, towards the end of yesterday, or certainly 2/3 through yesterday, that Bitex themselves were feeling very uncomfortable about the deal in its present form. I think you've probably heard both Ken, myself, talk in many occasions about this deal having to be a win-win on both sides. You know, I've been in business a long time, and if you have one of the two parties involved in any contract or arrangement that do not feel that it is a win, then the long-term outcome of that deal is never going to be what we want it to be. And I can tell you, just adding a little bit more meat to the bone, you know, if you want to know the reasons why, I'm not going to go into too much detail, but what I can say is that at various stages throughout this negotiation, from the initial concept to where we are now, I do believe that Bitex have been forced to concede in many situations and agree to things that probably, if I'm honest, I wouldn't have necessarily agreed to. And I think they've done that out of the goodwill to ensure that, as I said right at the start, for fear of repeating myself, that this is a satisfactory conclusion to everybody. Unfortunately, what that does is leave the company in a position where they're not comfortable in delivering on the timelines, and maybe do not feel that the viability or the profitability of the relationship and the deal in place is where they want to be. So let's get to the point. We obviously recognised that was the feeling. We asked the honest and open question as whether or not Bitex feel that they wish to continue with this deal, or whether or not they would prefer to simply sever the ties and issue refunds to each member. The company here yesterday afternoon spent a number of hours with the executive team discussing exactly that. It wasn't a hasty decision. We went away, we were asked to come back late last night, and I can tell you that that is exactly what Bitex have decided that they would prefer to do. If anybody misunderstands that, Bitex have taken the decision that they would like to issue the opportunity for each customer to receive a refund on what they have paid. I'm just referring to my notes as to whether there's anything specific up to that point that I've overlooked. I don't think there is. I think that's pretty much clarified the position. As I said, I'm not going to take questions today, but what I am going to do is just explain really your process for going forward from here. And obviously we've wanted to seek a variety of assurances. The most important thing I think to emphasize is that I've put the primary contact email address in the chat. It is Rosie at bitexmining.com. Poor Rosie has the pleasure of dealing with your incoming emails, but she is going to do those in a professional manner, and would like me to just I guess explain that she will do her utmost to ensure that she is going to respond to your request within a 48-hour business time window. That is not including if you send an email in on Friday afternoon, to expect her to be back to you within 48 hours. She will get back to you within 48 hours on business days. Okay, so let me just make that clear again. It is rosie@bitexmining.com. That's ROSIE at bitexmining.com. It is in the chat. You just click the chat button to see the chat on the right hand side. And simply you need to submit a request to have a refund. That is all you need to do. But in order to assist her, please ensure that you do that utilizing the same name that you submitted your order in. Please understand, some people did that in company's name. Please ensure that you submit the request, and if it's coming from a different email address, Rosie is not telepathic. She cannot obviously read between the lines and understand exactly what it is that you're going to need as far as the information. So specify the account name that you submitted your order in. Make sure it's clear on that email, and she will respond to you accordingly. What you're going to get back is you're going to get back a confidential NDA, a non-disclosure agreement that will be issued to you by the company, similar to that I've already read out to you today, and it will then go on to detail the refund policy. Okay, that was going to give you exactly what is going to be required from you in order to receive your refunds. I want to, I guess, ensure you that we've obviously worked diligently while we've been here. The long and the short of it is we are, I think it's fair to say, extremely disappointed with the outcome. And we wanted to do the very best for everybody concerned. And we did not feel that the best thing was to continue to push Bitex into a corner that they simply didn't want to be in. The most important thing, having reached that decision, is to ensure that everybody gets their money back and in a reasonable time frame. And the company have assured us that that will take place. I'm just going to check with my colleagues here as to whether there's anything else they feel that I've missed. Guys, is there anything that you feel that I need to cover?
Just let them know there's people that couldn't get on.
Okay, Ken, is there anything else you feel I need to cover?
Just once they get the timeline, make sure they get the timeline before they sign it up.
Sure. Okay. This presentation, we'll call it What You May Zoom meeting, is recorded. Unfortunately, I'm going to have to edit it and upload it. I want to likewise password protect it. So if there's anybody that wishes to see this presentation, this announcement, then please ask them to contact me personally via Facebook messaging. It's not going to be released in the public domain. It will be issued on a one-by-one basis, providing that person requesting it is a Bitex customer. Please understand the NDA, and I really want to emphasize this. This is not anything I'm saying because I'm sitting in Bitex's office. This is from me to you for what it's worth. If you decide to ignore the non-disclosure agreement and we start to see comments posted on social media, you will simply not receive a refund. We're all very disappointed with the outcome, but it's not for a lack of effort on all sides. And I have to say, as a form of integrity, there isn't really an awful lot much more that can be done than the company ensuring that you receive the monies back that you paid. Please follow the procedure. Again, I'm going to say it one more time before wrapping up. Please submit an email to Rosie, ROSIE, at bitexmining.com to request a refund. Specify in that email the name of your application as it was submitted initially when you placed your order, and then Rosie will respond and tell you exactly what you need to submit in order to receive your refund. That's really all I've got to say. I'm sorry that the news is not more uplifting for you. I know there is an awful lot of disappointed people on the call because we all hoped that this was going to deliver something very special for everybody. I'm not going to talk about other things when somebody's just messaged here, is there a plan for moving forward? I think all I'm going to say on that front is that we're very aware that people really wanted to change their financial future. Now is not the time to discuss that with you. Now is the time to give you the information that's required. But once we are back next week, early part of next week, we do have some strategies and plans to assist you to deliver those aspirations that you have. They are very strong, they're very transparent, but we would prefer to talk to you about that at the early part of next week. Thank you very much for tuning in, and please ensure that you get your communication underway, and anybody that needs to see this information, please ensure that they contact me personally. Thank you very much.